Welcome to Dr. Katina Talks, the podcast where we explore the journey to a more fulfilling, balanced, and meaningful life. I'm your host, Dr. Katina, and I'm here to share stories, insights, and strategies that inspire you to live life more authentically. And this authenticity is coming to you from Ghana in West Africa. I could not travel without my podcast setup, so here you go. The sound might be slightly different. You guys might actually hear the air conditioner running in the background, but I hope the impact will be the same. Today, I want to start with a scene from the Dreamgirls movie. In this movie, there's a moment when the character Effie White stands on stage and she sings one of the most powerful songs in the movie. Her voice is extraordinary. The emotion is undeniable, but that emotion-filled moment did not begin there. Leading up to that scene, Effie had become difficult for the people around her. She was temperamental, sharp with others, hard to work with. She really just pushed people away. Eventually, her group got tired of the tension, and they replaced her. Part of what made that moment so painful was this. Effie knew she had the talent. She had the voice. She had been the lead. But she also carried insecurities. She felt herself being compared to the woman who replaced her. The new singer was slimmer, softer in presentation, and easier for the industry to market. Suddenly, the question was no longer just about talent. It became about being chosen. So, when Effie stands there singing that famous song, "And I Am Telling You, I'm Not Going," she's not just singing about the group. She is singing to the man she loves. She is singing to everyone who has decided they can move forward without her. And underneath all of that vocal power is something very human. She is saying in the only way she knows how, "See me, choose me, do not replace me." That scene in this film struck me because it reveals something we often see in relationships. Sometimes the people who push the hardest are also the people who are hurting the most. Sometimes what looks like anger is actually fear. Fear of being replaced. Fear of not being enough. Fear that someone will look at you and decide they prefer someone else. And when those fears show up, people often begin doing something that feels contradictory. They push people away with one hand while quietly hoping the other person will still stay. Sometimes there is a message underneath that behavior that they can't speak aloud. If they could, it might sound something like this. "You are going to love me even when I push you away. You are going to love me even when I'm difficult. You are going to love me even when I'm mean." Sometimes what they are doing is a loyalty test. A test that asks, will you still see me? Will you still choose me? Or will you leave like everyone else? In my work with individuals and couples, I often see this dynamic in relationships that are broken and those heading to a breaking point. In arguments, people think they are arguing about surface issues, but underneath, the conflict is often a deeper emotional question. And this is a question that is more powerful than, "Do you still love me?" And that question is, am I still emotionally attractive to you? Not physically attractive, emotionally attractive. Do you still feel drawn to me? Do you still see me? Will you still choose me? Because emotional attraction is often what pulls people closer or pushes them further apart. When I think about Effie's story in the Dreamgirls movie, it reminds me of 5 reflections about emotional attraction in relationships. 1. Insecurity often shows up as anger. Sometimes what looks like attitude, criticism, or a bad temper is actually fear. Fear of being replaced. Fear of not being enough. When people feel that fear, they may push others away before they can be rejected. 2. People sometimes test love in unhealthy ways. There is often an unspoken message underneath the behavior. You are going to love me even when I push you away. You are going to love me even when I am difficult. Now, I must stop here and tell you something very important that I see in my work as a therapist. Love is not strengthened through tests. Nor is it strengthened by pushing someone away and expecting them to keep showing up. Love is strengthened through emotional safety, which leads to emotional attraction. 3. Emotional attraction is about emotional experience. Emotional attraction is different than love. It is about how someone feels in your presence. Do they feel calm? Do they feel respected? Do they feel emotionally safe? Those experiences shape whether people move toward each other or away from each other. 4. Comparison quietly erodes connection. Effie compared herself to the woman who replaced her. In relationships, comparison can slowly damage emotional security. When people begin to feel like they are competing for love, emotional attraction begins to weaken. And 5, self-awareness creates the possibility for change. Later in the film, Effie comes to a realization and sings another powerful song titled, I Am Changing. This song represents a conscious and mature shift. In this song, Effie was not demanding that someone else see her value. She spent a few years away from the group. She became a mother. She spent time reflecting. She had time for maturity and time for internal work. And this reminds me that real change often begins when we become aware of our fears, our insecurities, and the ways we sometimes push people away while hoping someone will stay. At the end of the film, Effie sings, I am changing. And when she does, the anger is gone, the fight is gone, and what replaces it is something deeper, self-awareness. She begins to see herself clearly, and that moment reminds us of something important. There is hope. Change can happen, and it might not always begin with the other person. It begins with becoming more aware of ourselves. Before we close today, I want to share something personal. I actually started writing this podcast a couple of weeks ago, but I finished it while watching Dreamgirls on a transatlantic flight to Ghana this past weekend. Sometimes stories reveal truths about ourselves that we may not have noticed otherwise. And that moment reminded me that underneath many of our strongest reactions is a simple human desire, and that is to be seen, to be chosen. And sometimes the most powerful question in a relationship is not, do you love me? It is this, do you still feel drawn to me? Because when people feel emotionally drawn toward each other, something powerful happens. They move closer. If today's reflection resonated with you, this type of personal exploration continues in my guided journal, Love by Dr. Katina, a 30-day guided journal. The journal is designed to help you slow down and reflect on the thoughts, emotions, and patterns that shape the way you show up in relationships and in your life. Because meaningful change rarely happens in one moment. It happens through small moments of awareness, one reflection at a time. You can find Love by Dr. Katina, a 30-day guided journal on Amazon. Thank you for joining me today on Dr. Katina Talks. Until next time, take care of yourself and take care of the relationships that matter to you. Bye for now.